Chesapeake is home to a lot of great athletes. Take, for example, the Great Bridge wrestling team. Year after year, these guys dominate the mat. So what's the secret of their success? Well, not eating potato chips for one. Richie Babb went out in search of that answer.
Over the years, we've seen sports dynasties emerge on professional baseball fields and basketball courts. But if 15 years of trophies are any indication, Great Bridge High School has established a dynasty on the wrestling mat. The Wildcats began building their wrestling dynasty in 1983 when Wayne Martin took the helm as coach.
One of the things that I was looking for when I was trying to decide where I wanted to apply is I wanted to come to an area that, number one, had great backing by the administration, and also, you know, the head athletes was a program that you know, had good potential but just needed the right guidance. And so fortunately, Great Bridge High School and the Great Bridge community had everything that I was really looking for. So I came in, and basically when I interviewed with Harry Blevins, you know, I told Mr. Blevins, I said pretty much that within about 4 years I thought I could have a team that could win the state championship.
It didn't even take 4 years for Coach Martin to make good on his promise. The Wildcats won a state wrestling championship at the end of the 1986-87 school year.
I was fortunate enough that I had several exceptional athletes come through the program early in my career, and just to name a few of them, one was Jody Staler, one was Jody Jackson. And those individuals, what would happen is I would show them one hold, and in return, they'd come back and show me 10 different variations to do that one hold. And so I learned more from my athletes than I ever taught my athletes.
A total of 4 state team championships and 16 individual state champions later, Wayne left as head coach to become Great Bridge's athletic director. The hiring of Wayne's brother Steve to take his place set the stage for a continuation of the Martin wrestling tradition that began with their father, Billy, at Granby High School in the 1950s.
I started, guys, when I was in about the 7th grade, when I went down to the YMCA. I never knew there was wrestling holds. I was always fighting everybody, though. But I'd put them out by choking them here, you know. I was a little guy, but I had a grip, you know. And I found that out a long time ago. And so I get in a fight when I was little, or I just, and the guys would go like that, and everybody say, "You killed him." I said, well, and you know, I knew I hadn't, you know, but I found out that you could grab a guy here real quick and pull his neck and like that, so these big guys got scared of me. They wouldn't mess with me. At that time, some great guys were coming through Granby, you know. They just shifted from Maury and coming over to Granby, you know, when I got there. The guys really loved this stuff, and they kind of formed a group there that grouped together, and the thing was, the first thing is, they had to get good grades. We were all shooting for all A's and B's, everybody. Because I say, I'm not coaching anybody that's not going to college. You got to get out there and go to college. Now, even, that helped the others, too, even if they didn't go to college, you know. But everybody was shooting for those grades, because they had to have those grades to get in school. So we were all shooting for the grades. And so we had some good students there, too, gosh. We had some smart people make real good wrestlers.
To date, that tradition has meant 14 state titles and 40 individual titles to the Wildcats. This budding dynasty has also brought first ever national titles to Virginia wrestlers, as 3 Great Bridge wrestlers brought home championships, 2 at the high school level and 1 from the middle school. All this success has brought a good deal of recognition to the Great Bridge school and community.
Anytime young people receive recognition, it's very positive. Sometimes young people get a bad rap in the media, but in our schools today, there are so many wonderful students. And when recognition is given, whether it's for academics or athletics, it's a great source of pride for a school and a community. And we are very proud of our wrestling team and their accomplishments through the years. It's a great group of young men.
So how does one go about building a high school sports dynasty?
Well, the first thing is the coaching staff's got to get the same commitment that they do. If they're running, the coaching staff runs with them. If they're lifting, the coaching staff's lifting with them. The articulation between the middle school program and the high school program is very important. And the same goals are communicated, and they can tell them what to expect when they get up here, and we try to go down there and help out the middle school as much as possible. We're very visible at the matches. We know all the kids. We know who the good athletes are, but the same system has to be down at the middle school as at the high school. Middle school is the lifeblood of your program. Most of the kids that come in our program are pretty focused, and they know what they're getting into. You train during the season, you train during the off-season, you're conditioning, lifting weights, running. So they know it's a year-round commitment. From a parent standpoint, they like that because they know that their kid's going to be on task. They're learning about hard work and dedication and discipline. And they know when they come into our program that we're going to have a tight rein on them, not only on the mat, but when they step out there in the classroom, and we know what goes on during the weekends. So socially, we have a pretty tight grip, and this community is pretty close, so we try to make sure they set a good example when they're in the classroom and walking around in public, because ultimately it all comes back to me and I hear it all. It takes a special breed to be a wrestler, because it's a very tiring sport, and it's not like some sports, you know, you can shoot a basketball through a hoop, that's instant gratification. Wrestling, you might not see results, you know, for months, maybe a year or two. It's very hard to win a state championship. The guys really have to be goal-oriented.
Add all that to a program that begins by identifying talent in young athletes and nurturing it in a successful middle school program, and you get an honest-to-goodness dynasty. With all this success behind the Great Bridge Wrestling program, what's ahead of it?
But next year we have 4 state champions returning and 3 state place winners, and we have several kids coming up in the middle school that are going to make an immediate impact right off the bat. And so depth-wise, next year we could have as good of a team as we had this year. It just depends how hard they work over the summer.
Wildcat wrestlers find that the Martin wrestling tradition gives them the tools to be great wrestlers. Their own hard work, Great Bridge tradition and pride give them the tools to be champions.
4-time state champion.
Wow, those guys are great. Good luck in the upcoming season. Now, you ready for some fast fun? Well, grab your bike, grab your house.